Like, I've always been making things, and that's always where it starts, I think, with this sort of thing. You start making things for yourself, your friends start to get a little bit interested, you start making things for them, and then you wonder if anyone would pay for these things and if you can try to balance the costs involved with it. So then I started doing markets and things and put a name to it. I make things. So at the moment it is predominantly macrame, jewellery, hangers, wall hangings, and also resin accessories. I think my creations are inspired by the processes involved in creating them. I really love learning new skills and being able to experiment with different processes, and obviously colour is a big part of what I make as well. So the resin, it's really funny actually. The first time when I actually learned to do resin, very first insight to it was a little workshop that I did with my mum and a bunch of older ladies, and it was lovely, and it was like this whole day workshop, and then I was just really inspired after that, so I started looking into it more and experimenting more, and that's how the resin thing started. And then the macrame actually came because of working with this charity and seeing the things that don't go through the shop and wondering about the potential for those items. And I'm lucky to be able to purchase the things that they don't put through to the stores. So that just means that I can take it, put it to good use and put it into something else that's a little bit beautiful and that people will love, hopefully. There's something really rewarding about having a practical skill. For me particularly, I just love that I can tie all these awesome knots and make them look really pretty, and I go from there. But in general, this resurgence of old thing, I think people are just appreciating handmade and old ways and authentic things. And there's just so much potential for it too. I think when things come back, people interpret them differently and just get really experimental and creative with it, and you can get all these beautiful outcomes that aren't like what's been done before. My ideas for bringing in imagery was really just, I wondered if I could do it, so I started to try to do it, and skulls came out of that, and I've got a few other things on the go, developing you know, wall hangings with images within them and words and things like that, which yeah, I haven't seen before either, so that's cool to be able to just do something that you haven't seen done in a technique that's been done for years and years and years and years. So the physical making process is really important to me, I think. I do spend a lot of time with a screen in front of my face in one way or another. So to be able to do something active and make something and embed something in that tells a story, I think that's really rewarding. You can really get a little bit lost when you're just knotting, it's quite relaxing. And even resin is quite hands-on, like there's a lot of obviously downtime once you've poured into the moulds and you're waiting for that to set, and popping it out is always really exciting. But then you hit the sanding, which is very time-consuming and quite labour-intensive. And yeah, earphones are in the ears, and I'm outside in the cold with my hands in a bucket of water, gas mask and goggles on, but it's great. It's not glamorous at all. It's not glamorous at all, but it's fun. I like being able to get dirty with something, and I don't think people necessarily acknowledge that when they see the end product, the work that's gone into it, particularly with like resin, because it is mould based and you can repeat it and you can see cheaper versions of it in lots of places. I think it's really important to kind of communicate the story behind it to people so they really understand the value in it. So often people come up to my table and they're like, is that soap? Or something like that because of the pastel colours, or they're like, oh, it looks like candy, and it just starts all these conversations, which I think is really great. I love it when people regram, when they've purchased something and they receive it and then they take a photo of themselves wearing it. It's such a nice thing that you don't get very often, to be able to see people once they've taken it home and they've styled it in whatever way they want to, and that's really great too actually, because seeing it on other people and how they wear it gives me ideas to make different things as well. It just perpetuates the process, which I think is really good. I think the hard thing about being a sole trader is that you have to wear every hat in the business. It's a time game as well, because I work other jobs and Kirri-MaDe is sort of my passion project. It has its ups and downs, but I think it again just comes down to the thing of like, I really enjoy doing it, and if the downs outweighed the ups, I just wouldn't do it anymore. I think what I like about new people finding and discovering my things is that you feel like people are talking about it and that there's maybe a little bit of a buzz around what you're doing, and that's just really exciting and rewarding because you do put a lot of hours and a lot of work into it, so it's nice to then have strangers tell you that they like what you're doing. My mum always tells me, but you know, it's not the same.